You know preppers, right? The kind of people who act like having extra stuff at home in case of emergency is a personality trait. Normally no one pays attention to them, but since Karens and other assorted paranoiacs have made several runs on toilet paper in light of recent events, here we are. Most people, I'd wager, prepare for emergencies because things happen, and it's good to have at least some idea of what to do with yourself in that case. But preppers are different. You know how sometimes people decide that their absolutely normal, acceptable, unremarkable behavior is a personality trait? Yeah. Combine that with a certain degree of excitement at the prospect of the collapse of society, and you've got yourself a prepper. Honestly, I don't know how you can make disaster preparedness a personality trait in a hobby, but here we are. Anyways, there's definitely different levels to it, but they all start with the same expectation that someday society is gonna collapse. Any minute now, whether it's by a disaster or general unrest or something, I don't know, they decide that they gotta be ready. But remember, there's levels to prepperism. Prepperism? Preppering? And some of them are truly worth clowning on or, just staring at. So might as well go ahead and talk about them on an arbitrary and inconsistent scale for views. Level 1, grocery runners. So you know how every time the weather forecast calls for like 3 to 6 inches of snow, the grocery stores get cleared out in record time? People that do that are like less preppers because they don't stock up in advance. Now, people who use their preparedness as a personality trait, from what I've seen, will tell you, "Nuh-uh, real preppers buy things in advance." But that doesn't make sense because, again,
planning ahead isn't a personality trait. Thank you.
But the mentality is there. Massive paranoia over what? Some weather? Especially since most of the scared people live in cities with underground power lines, or they live very close to all the everyone else. At least in the Northeast, I know literally nothing about the rest of this accursed country's winter preparations. But what I don't get about grocery runners is that they're all ready to scrap with an entire store over like a can of beans, like their lives depend on it. Like, look, we're about to have 3 inches of snow. The schools are still gonna be open tomorrow. You're not allowed to freak out unless you want to be banned from society or something. Level 3. Why yes, I am armed, thank you. You probably don't know a level 3 in real life, but you've absolutely seen them on Facebook. Or, your platform of choice. They tend to have the hot take sunglasses and absolutely no musculature whatsoever, talking about, "I need it for home defense, a lock would defeat the purpose." Yeah, okay, sure. This doesn't have to come with the canned stash of a level 2, but it absolutely is higher up on my completely arbitrary scale that I came up with at 2 a.m. because I suck at writing at other times of day. It's not enough to just own a weapon, but you gotta let everyone know, at least online, because what if your neighbors run out of flour and want to borrow some? Spooky, I know. And then it's not secured at all because I might need it at 2 a.m. in my completely unremarkable house on a cul-de-sac in the suburbs. In the dark, in an enclosed space. Yeah, all you're doing is creating future dead kids and school shooters, but hey, what do I know? Level 4, Arsenal. Not the soccer team that I can't be bothered to write a throwaway joke for. The expensive type. Wait, no, that so describes the team. The metal type. Okay, yeah, I think that works. Some people have a lot of guns. Quite often, they're just regular people with a hobby. It's kind of like collecting cars. You can collect some pretty nice and pretty rare guns if that's your jam. Or you can go to the range and shoot at a target, also if that's your jam. I wouldn't begrudge you that. But no. Prepper grade arsenals are different. They have one purpose and one purpose only. To use on your neighbors during an apocalypse. That'll be here any minute now. Oh wait, no, that was a journal entry about Y2K. Sorry about that. I should probably update my script. Honestly, this variety of prepper trademark is the only one that I can't really joke about. Like, not only do they take the mentality of disaster preparedness is a personality trait and crank it up to 11, which is, it could be pretty silly, but they also like get an arsenal with the intent of unleashing it on people someday. That's not funny. I can't really make a joke about that. That actually disturbs me. Like, can you really imagine salivating at the thought of an opportunity to go full on Rambo, but only on regular people who did nothing wrong but come closer to your house than you like? No? Alright then, let's move on to something better. Prepper level max. Bunkers. Excuse me. What better way to ride out the K-class scenario of your dreams than in a custom-built, concrete-encased, steel-ringed bunker of your choice? Options range from your standard Cold War era, I'd risk death from fallout after a week-sized shelter to some more decorated options. The highest level of preparedness attracts the most interesting group of people, to say the least. So let's see what a bunker user or two, or how many ever whenever I get done with this video, have to say.
Although Jerry has spent over $7 million to make his home structurally sound, completely self-sufficient, and fully supplied with food and water, he has not limited his survival plans to the bare necessities.
Man, this dude must be rich. He's clearly not representative of most bunker users, right?
A lot of people buy gold and silver, but I invested heavily in toilet paper because everybody needs it, and makes life kind of rough if you don't have it. It's a better investment in the long run.
Well, alright, Nostradamus. Why?
This is our sunroom. It's the only sunlight in the complete complex. So when you get claustrophobic, you can come in here and unwind.
People really call this living? Because I'm not sure it even counts as surviving. One window in your house? Yikers.
When you're inside of a shelter, even trash can be a threat. And when trash rots, it can cause health issues. So you want your air to stay healthy and clean, so you have to properly dispose of everything.
Trash stinks and attracts flies. News at 11.
A family of Kevin's size will produce over 1,800 pounds of trash every 30 days, enough to fill the floor of the bunker a foot deep in less than a year. So Kevin is building a 10-foot-long trash chute to save his family from their own waste.
There's a high rate of suicide in shelters. And I don't know exactly what that statistic is, but I understand it's on the high side.
Isolation isn't good for your mental health, huh? Who knew?
So let me show you this trash tube. I want to explain that to you.
It's huge.
You can see this is about 10 foot. It's on a little bit of an angle. Anytime we're prepping, Amber would rather just not be here. She doesn't want to be involved with prepping. And I understand that. Actually, it's big, you know, and suicide rate's kind of high in these shelters.
We can stuff a body here.
It's big. That's exactly what it's designed for, to be honest.
For a body.
It is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's a fat move right there. That's literally all. That's a fat move. I mean, look at her. That's a fat move. The problem with planning ahead as a personality trait is honestly the mantra of hide what you have, don't say anything, lie if you have to. I mean, like, that's why. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you at least make an attempt to have a community, to make it work with other people? No one is an island. Nobody can consistently rely on themselves and themselves only, because that's just not how life works. And every time people recover and rebuild from anything, natural disaster of all types, cities after being lagged out with TNT, it's always a result of working together and coming together on a large scale. But a lot of preppers that I've seen seem to want to ignore that, like they don't live in a society. Sorry, I just really wanted to fit that in there sometime. Anyways, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.